Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Omni Rusted. I'm doing a little bit something different today. I've been getting a lot of questions lately on how to do a lot of different things in RimWorld, so I thought I'd start a brand new series on RimWorld Tutorials. And today, I thought we would start with the very, very basics of tutorials, which is basically how to start a colony yourself. So we're going to start, of course, by showing you the fact that I am doing this vanilla only. I've disabled every single mod I usually use, and I use a lot of mods. We will go into mods later and how they work and how to find them, how to install them, everything like that, as well as mod reviews, but for now we're just going to go straight to new colony. So, a lot of people will show you, like how to push the buttons and everything like that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm going to show you what you will really want. So we are going to do some challenge on Cassandra Classic, a basic explanation here of the different storytellers. If you want constant action, Cassandra Classic is your girl. If you want a little bit more of a relaxed thing, a little bit more time in between events, Phoebe Chillax is your girl. And if you want just what the hell ever, Randy Random is your guy. A lot of people go and say that Randy Random is the hardest difficulty. Honestly, I would choose Cassandra Classic, since she is actually developed to be a significant challenge, whereas Randy can be either very good or very bad, depends on your luck. My luck is usually terrible. I like sticking with Cassandra Classic. Now, as for this stuff right here, this is how you create worlds. The randomized seed is if you want to copy somebody else's world. Whatever planet that you have, we go, say, for example, to the planet Purple. That's the seed with which it will develop the planet itself. Globe coverage, the planet is always going to be, as it says, the same diameter, the same size. This is how much of the planet that you can see yourself. Overall rainfall is going to determine how much swamps you get, how much lakes you get, how much ocean you get, how much ice temperature you get, and overall temperature is going to be, of course, whether you get a lot of desert, whether you get a lot of jungle, whether you get a lot of ice sheet, stuff like that. So let's generate the world, and I'll show you everything here. So here's the planet Purple here. As you can see, we took a 30% planet, and I can see 30% of the diameter of the planet. We can't see a lot of it. A lot of it is just ocean. It only showed this little spot here. Down here, we've got, of course, our buttons. You can see advanced, what kind of map size you're going to get. As for map size that you're going to get when you actually land, or in the case of tribals, when you actually, show up or whatever, this is going to show how much of the map is. If you have a computer that can't handle as much as a normal player would be, I would recommend small. It's a little bit less size to build up in, but it's going to be a lot easier to start with. Also, you can set your starting season here. Auto will start you around spring and summer. You can also start in winter, whatever you like there. You can see your factions down here, which are going to be hostile. This actually has 3 friendly factions, which is actually really nice. You're always going to have the pirate band. Pirate bands you cannot be friendly with, ever. You will always have a hostile faction no matter what you do. You get the random select button, and it will select a random place for you, but that's not what we're going to do today. Now, the different colors denote which different factions there are. You can see there's 3 different colors here. Those 3 different colors, of course, denoting the colors that are right here on the faction window. So we've got the Fellowship's Mesa, which is the name of the town itself, and then the Eastern Anhabarium, which is the name of the faction itself, and they are an Outlander Union. Now, the differences between the different factions are, Outlander Unions are the same technological tier, I guess you would say, as you yourself are if you start with Colonizers, the 3 different colony. Whereas Tribe are very primitive. They're much harder to do research with and considered a much harder faction to start with. So you can see the different symbols here denoting who is who. So this is Tribe with a little tent, Outlander Union with a little house, and then Pirates with the, of course, skull and crossbones. So going into the planet itself, we can see a lot of different areas, different colors and whatnot. We'll go top to bottom. Up here at the chicken head sheet, we've got sea ice. Sea ice, wow, there's actually somebody here, is the hardest one to do. If you want the ultimate challenge, well, then you would be watching this tutorial in the first place. You can hit the terrain button here to see what the different terrain type is. And of course the planet to see the seed and everything like that. This planet's name is Nova Kaus. Kaus? Something like that. So there's sea ice, ice sheet, which is a little bit easier. You might even get some growing areas there. You could of course see a description of what it is up here. And this goes down to tundra, which will have growing areas. Then it goes on down to... Usually boreal forest is the next one you'll get. You will get trees in the boreal forest, and as you can see, the growing period in boreal forest is very short. In tundra, it's also very short. In ice sheet and in sea ice, you get no growing period ever, and that's one of the things you want to look for. The things you want to look for in the area that you're going for is average temperature, average winter temperature, summer temperature, and growing period, as well as your stone types and the terrain. So, we got desert down below that. Desert is not, now as the definition for desert, I need to remind people, desert is not just the Sahara Desert, which is what everybody thinks of. Desert is a area which, as it says, a dry area which supports little life. Can be hot or quite cold. It means you'll get very little trees here. You'll get very extreme temperatures. Very little animal life. Going down, we go into the temperate forest, which is about your medium difficulty. And then there's and then it sort of just separates into different types of temperature extremes near the what you would guess would be the equator if you were to split this whole continent in half. You've got arid shrubland, which is a lot like desert, but not a true desert. You get a little bit more plant life here, a little bit more tree life. And then we of course go into tropical rainforest. The difficulty in tropical rainforest being that the temperatures are very, very high in the summer. You can see them in Celsius right now, it's 34°C. Growing period is year-round. Don't take that to make you think that it's going to be easy there. In hotter temperatures, you get a lot more disease, and that is something to really keep in mind, especially in tropical rainforests. You also get a heck of a lot more animal life in tropical rainforests. And then we go down into tropical swamp, which are very, very different. There are regular swamps that you can find. Apparently this planet doesn't have any that I can find at the moment. I'm not seeing any tropical swamps, but I'm not going to take a lot of time looking around for one. I've seen a lot of tropical swamps here. Tropical swamps are filled with water areas, filled with areas that you cannot build in unless you use a moisture pump, which we will go into much, much later in another video. But tropical rainforest, lots of disease. Arid shrubland, I actually consider to be a little bit harder than desert. Now, as for everything else, where you want to land depends on exactly what kind of area that you want. You can see there's lines dotting this place all over the place. Because these lines denote different rivers, size of rivers, different roads, road types. And of course, there is different areas. So, we'll go into the road types. Now, road types, I believe there's 3 different types, which is, you can see dirt road. Dirt road, nothing will happen in there, but the areas that you see this dirt road, for example, if you landed here, your map would have a road traveling from west to east or east to west, whichever way you want to look at it, in a diagonal fashion, mostly near the top of the map itself. And caravans and enemies will most likely, not always, but most likely appear on those roads. Then we've got stone roads. Stone roads are basically the exact same thing, but as you can see, the movement time is much different between dirt roads. Well, I guess not here, but usually it's much different between roads, between the dirt road and between the stone road. Oh wow, it's really not showing that it's different here, but I promise you it is. And then you've got my favorite type, which is the ancient asphalt road. The ancient asphalt road has the best movement time when you have caravans on it. And the best thing is when you land on these areas, it will have random spots on it that have bits of metal. They have lamp posts, they have dividers, stuff like that you can actually deconstruct for some free metal. Now, the different map types you can get when you land on these is going to be, of course, flatland. Flatland has very little area that is going to have stone that you can dig into on it. Then there's small hills, and the larger you go up on these little symbols here, is going to denote how much area that you have to build in versus how much area that you have to mine out. So flat has very little, small hills has a little bit more, large hills has quite a bit, and of course mountainous is mountains. You're going to be living in a cave. And of course there's impassable. You can't land on impassable. You don't want to go there. You just do not want to go there. Now for the river types, water types, you've got of course very small creeks, which is very, very little moving water. Half of the map will be sort of cut in half by a very tiny creek. If you get mods that have like bridges and stuff like that, you can actually build on those. Creeks can be walked across. It will just slow down your pawn's movement a little bit. Also, if you have a moisture pump, it will take much less time to make that tile that the creek is unbuildable. Then we go into the larger water masses, such as a large river. Looking for a river is just river. It's not medium river, it's just river. And the larger you go up, the more of the map itself the river will be taking up, and the more time it will take for a moisture pump to stop that. Also, for say rivers, some parts on the map will be a lot thinner, meaning that your pawns can move across it, whereas if you go to a large river, or a huge river even, most of the map, for example this one here, most of the map will be taken up by this enormous river. It'll be very hard to find places to build, and there will be lots of places where your pawns cannot move on. I would not recommend this. Also, for say the large lakes that you can land on, or just straight up oceans, if you land next to them, say if I landed right here, that's an actually interesting spot right there. I'll probably have that for a next tutorial. If you land with a spot that has a border that is watered, that area will have an entire section of the map cut off by ocean and by beach. Now, when you're looking for a place to land, you got to think of travel times. So for example, if you landed on an island, while this looks like a great place to land, limestone and granite, you know, you see your different types of rock here, you see your different growing times, everything like that. You also got to think about the fact that if you want to send a caravan out, you have nobody to trade with. Your pawns can't move across water. Here, you got a couple places to trade with. That's not bad. There are no pirate factions on that island, so you'll have very little attacks coming through. Still not a great place to land. You want to land on a mainland with a lot of open roads going in between you and places to trade with. So while I do like this area, I got to think about the fact that moving over large hills or mountains takes forever. Moving across large rivers that don't have a bridge crossing them will take a heck of a long time. Moving around here with no roads to trade with these tribals. Tribals aren't the best to trade with, and it will take a long time to trade with them, so that's actually a really bad place to go. On the other hand, if I wanted to say come over here, lots of places where I can go land. Also, I kind of want to land on a spot that is going to have a lot of roads connected to it. Maybe I want to have a border with a river on it. Maybe I want to do something like that. Maybe I want a road that I can travel on. Maybe I want a small little bit of time where I can travel to the road itself, and then my pawns can usually travel on the roads. There's lots of people to trade with around here. One pirate faction down here. There's not many pirate factions though, and later on in the end game I might want to raid places, say. Down here we've got a temperate forest. That's actually a really good spot. Temperate forest, lots of roads. We've got an ancient asphalt road here that I could mine out for a little bit of metal. Plenty of pirate bases that I could raid. So that might be a really good spot to land. Now, maybe I'll want to have a lot of spots to mine out. I could go large hills. Maybe I want a little bit to mine out, but I want a lot of space to build. I could go for small hills. But also you got to look at the rocks that you're going to get. If you have, say, a place with 3 different types of rocks, there's going to be 3 different types of rocks on your map. That means that if you want to have a lot of stone blocks of a certain type, you might not get them in a place that only has 2, and then a place that has 3. I want to stick with a place that has only 2. And you also got to want to think about the walls that you're going to be building. For example, if you have bricks made out of granite, granite is the strongest stone to make walls out of, whereas limestone and marble are the weakest stone. I think slate and marble might be the weakest. I don't quite remember, but limestone is your weakest, granite is your strongest. So you want to basically go for a place that has one good stone for building walls, and then one good stone for making stuff pretty. My favorite, personally, is granite and marble. If you can find a place with granite and marble, that is my absolute favorite. Now we have a temperate forest here, right next to a road. Small little river on it. I could possibly use it for some defense. Small hills, so there's not going to be much there. Growing period is 30 to 60 days. That's not bad at all. Winter temperature goes to -1 to 22 in the summer. That is extremely temperate. That is very, very nice. But I see that this is a creek here, so that creek, that little bit of water, isn't going to be as useful as I'd like. But I do like the marble and granite. Now, the marble and granite here, how it says marble and granite, that means it's going to be mostly marble, and maybe like 60-40 to 70-30 on marble and granite there. I want a lot more granite than marble. So I look around a little bit more. I see granite and slate there. I like granite and slate a little bit better. I've got access to a road here. You don't really need the water. It's not that big of a deal. But if I wanted to go to, say, flatlands, say I wanted to take advantage of the ancient asphalt road. Let's look around here. Marble and granite right there. That's a really good one. With pretty much the exact same on the winter temperature and the summer temperature. With an ancient asphalt road, I could take advantage of that really early on for some very early on steel. And there you go. That's pretty much how planets work. Now, you got to also think about later when you're landing, who are you going to be trading with? Who are you going to be raiding? Are you going to want to really range out? Are you going to want to build other settlements and take care of multiple settlements at once? All of this is up to you. But remember, my biggest advice, RimWorld is all about mistakes. You learn from your mistakes. Be prepared to lose. Be prepared to have fun losing. Be prepared to make mistakes. I'm OmniRusted, and I will see you in the next one.